Aurora and Arthur Petrova, The Car Trip from Hell. It is Monday, October the 3rd, 2016, at exactly 15:15, the most cacophonous, stressful arrival that Romford has ever seen. A black taxi pulls to a halt by the curb with a sharp, metallic screech. Within the children's ecstatic, impatient, and wildly impulsive reach, Aurora and Arthur Petrova leap out, their energy high and vibrant, though the air in the concrete estate is heavy, humid, and silent. They are clad in school finery, gray trousers and skirts quite neat, with maroon jumpers and silver-striped ties to make the look complete. Their faces are glowing with the joy of the school day being done, oblivious to the battle that has, in fact, only just begun. Maria stands waiting at flat 74, Charrington Court, a woman whose patience is frequently dangerously, terribly short. Her long hair is twisted up tight in a bun, her orange glasses aglow, as she glares at Aurora with a fury that continues to fester and grow. The flat is a dark, cramped hole where the bins outside constantly rot, a small, noisy dwelling that Maria is desperate to leave on the spot. "You little cunt," she erupts, her voice like a thunderous, jagged knife. "Writing stories about Aurora? You're ruining your mother's life. You punched her as well? You absolute melt. You're a disgrace to the name, bringing our family such loquacious, public, and blistering shame." Aurora looks crestfallen, her pink glasses slipping down her nose, while Arthur stands awkwardly, fidgeting with his gray stocking toes. "It was just a story," Aurora cries out, her voice a shrill, thin plea. "I didn't mean to exacerbating the stress for you and for me." Maria's orange-sleeved arms are crossed, hiding scars from the past, from boiling water in infancy, shadows that are destined to last. "Don't write about real people, you wanker." Maria continues to yell. This flat is a prison, a dark and cacophonous Romford-based hell. "Go change your clothes, both of you. Move with some fucking pace, before I decide to slap that look of defiance right off of your face." Arthur, being loquacious and bold, looks up with a cheeky, wide grin, ignoring the storm and the terrible, blistering, ear-splitting din. "Can we get McDonald's?" he asks, his voice like a hopeful, soft bell. "I'm starving to death in this tiny, dark, bin-smelling, Romford-born hell." Maria's face twitches. She's ready to explode like a pressure cooker lid. "McDonald's? You're joking. You're a greedy and thoughtless young kid. We're meant to be going to Baptist Church Club. The bus is due soon. But you're asking for nuggets and fries in the middle of the afternoon?" She checks her Samsung, the screen glowing bright in the hallway's gloom, as the scent of the bins outside starts to permeate every small room. Suddenly, the phone starts to vibrate, a frantic and rhythmic B-Z-Z-Z-Z. Maria knows who it is. She knows exactly who the caller is and was. It's Petar, her husband, his temper as sharp as a jagged, cold blade, the man for whom anger and fury were specifically, carefully made. He's 45.75 years, with blue glasses and haircut short, a man who demands total loyalty and every single person's support. "Zdravey, zdravey," he roars through the speaker, his voice a wild gale. "The plans have all changed. The church club idea is destined to fail. I'm coming to get you. We're leaving for Chelmsford this very hour. Get the kids in the car," he commands with a terrifying sense of power. "But the club," Maria stammers, her long sleeves pulled down to her palm, trying to maintain a facade of unnatural, shivering calm. "Fuck the club," Petar bellows, the phone nearly cracking in two. "I've had enough of the school, the church, and the whole lot of you. The red Audi is running, the diesel is humming, the tank is all full. I'm not in the mood for your constant, annoying, and tedious bull. Get down to the street. We're driving to Badow, to 18 Harroway. I'm finishing this move, and I'm finishing it this very fucking day. Arthur is ecstatic. He thinks he might still get his Happy Meal prize, while Aurora just stares with her wet, inconsolable, pink-glassed eyes. Down in the street, the red 2009 Audi A3 sits idling roughly, an automatic diesel for everyone to see. Petar is behind the wheel, his blue glasses reflecting the gray of the dismal, depressing, and dampening Romford-born day. The kids have changed out of their maroon and gray school attire into leggings and t-shirts, though Petar's soul is still spitting fire. "Get in the fucking car," he screams as the back doors swing wide. "If I hear one more word, I'll take every last one of you for a ride. Don't test me today. I'm a ticking time bomb, a volcano of hate. Just get in your seats before I decide to seal your miserable fate." Aurora and Arthur scramble inside, their movements clumsy and fast, knowing that Petar's brief patience is never, ever destined to last. The back of the car is a cramped and claustrophobic dark space as the red Audi pulls out of the Charrington Court parking place. Arthur is kicking the seat, a rhythmic and thudding thump-thump, as the car hits a pothole and flies over a Romford speed bump. "Stop kicking the seat, you wanker," Petar roars at the boy in the rear, his voice filling the cabin with a tangible, sickening sense of fear. The move to Great Baddow is starting, but the atmosphere's grim as Maria sits frozen, refusing to look even slightly at him. "It's better in Essex," Maria whispers, a hope that feels small. "A 3-bedroom house with a garden and a much wider hall. Open-plan living. A place where the air isn't heavy with bins, where we can start over and wash away all of our Romford-born sins. Chelmsford is diverse, like Enfield, but with more room to breathe, away from this block where the neighbors all argue and seethe." But Petar isn't listening. He's cursing the traffic and the rain, as the diesel engine groans like a beast in a high state of pain. The transition is messy, a cacophonous, terrible grinding ordeal, as Petar grips tight on the Audi's black, leather-bound steering wheel. Aurora is sobbing, her long, low ponytail starting to fray. She wanted the club, she wanted to play, and to pass the long day. "I want to go back," she wails, her voice like a siren's sharp cry, as the gray clouds of London begin to darken the autumn-toned sky. Petar's face turns a shade of deep purple, a terrifying, dark hue. "Shut your mouth, you little shit, or I'll give you something to rue. I'm driving this car, and I'm doing my best to get us all there. And all I get is your constant, loquacious, and bratty despair." The rain starts to patter, a pathetic fallacy, cold and sincere, as the red Audi A3 begins to accelerate into high gear. To distract herself from the shouting, the swearing, and the loud din, Aurora reaches into her bag, seeking the comfort that's within. She pulls out her Bible, a small book with pages of paper-thin white, seeking a verse that might help her through this dark, terrible night. She finds Psalms 3, reading the words of the ancient, wise king, hoping the scripture will take away some of the car trip's sharp sting. Beside her, Arthur is humming, a low and annoying sharp drone, as he stares at the rain-streaked window and wishes he was alone. The car is a capsule of misery, speeding through the Essex-bound dark, leaving behind the Romford streets and the local, gray, littered park. "Lord, how many are my foes?" Aurora whispers the holy, soft text, wondering what kind of hellish nightmare is going to happen quite next. "You are a shield around me," she breathes, feeling a moment of peace, praying that Petar's explosive and terrifying temper might cease. But the car hits a jolt, a sudden and violent, bone-rattling shake, as Petar slams on the brakes for a stupid and dangerous mistake. Aurora's hand slips, her fingers clenching the paper too tight, as the sound of a tear fills the car in the dim, fading gray light. A page from the Bible is ripped, a jagged and terrible white-edged scar, as a silence more heavy than lead falls over the red Audi car. I accidentally tore it. Aurora screams, her heart starting to race, as the blood drains away from her youthful and tear-streaked, small face. It was an accident, Papa. I didn't mean to break the good book. But Pitar responds with a cold, unforgiving, and murderous look. You tore the Bible, he roars, his voice like the crack of a gun. You're a disgrace to the faith and to everyone under the sun. I should pull over right now and give you the hiding you've earned, since all of my lessons are obviously, completely, and totally unlearned. He swerves into the slow lane, the tires giving a high-pitched, loud squeal, as the threat of physical punishment becomes frighteningly, sickeningly real. Arthur starts crying as well, the tension too much for his heart, as the family unit begins to violently, painfully, quickly fall apart. Don't hit her, he wails, his green glasses fogged with his breath, as the car trip from hell feels like a slow, agonizing march to his death. Bollocks to that, Pitar shouts. She's a careless and clumsy young brat. Tearing the scripture? Who the fuck does something stupid like that? The red Audi diesel is vibrating, shaking with Pitar's intense, wild rage, as Aurora stares down at the ruined and jagged, torn, holy white page. The rain is a deluge now, a cacophonous, hammering, gray autumn flood, as the fury in Pitar's veins begins to boil his Bulgarian blood. Pitar, stop it right now. Maria finally, forcefully, loudly intervenes, having reached her own limit with these terrible, heartbreaking scenes. She accidentally did it. It's just a book made of paper and glue. Don't you dare lay a finger on her, or I'll have words with you. Her orange glasses are flashing, her eyes filled with a steely, sharp light, as she prepares to stand up for her children and win this horrific, dark fight. We're nearly in Badao. We're nearly at 18 Harrow Way. Don't ruin the start of our new life on this damp and miserable day. I have a softer alternative, a way to make everything right, instead of this swearing and shouting and constant, unnecessary fight. Pitar growls like a dog, but he slowly, reluctantly, turns back around, while the red Audi hums with a lower and more rhythmic, diesel-born sound. Fine, he spits out, but she's grounded for life, do you hear? She's a wanker, a melt, and she's filling her brother with fear. Aurora is shivering, her pink glasses wet with her salty, hot tears, as she navigates one of her greatest and most agonizing, deep-seated fears. Maria reaches back, her long orange sleeve brushing Aurora's small hand, a silent promise that she will protect her and take a firm, motherly stand. The traffic begins to thin out as they leave the M25 behind, seeking the peace that they're hoping and praying they'll eventually find. They enter Great Badao, the trees showing autumn's gold and deep red, as the thoughts of the old Romford flat finally leave Maria's tired head. The neighborhood is quiet, the gardens are tidy and well-presented and neat, a far cry from the noisy and littered and bin-smelling Romford-born street. Look at the houses, Maria whispers, her voice now tender and soft, as she looks at the chimneys and windows in every high, well-built loft. It's diverse and it's friendly, a place where you kids can both thrive, a place where we can feel happy and truly and deeply and fully alive. Even Pitar is calming, the diesel engine beginning to purr, as the anger inside him begins to become just a distant and hazy soft blur. They pull into the driveway of number 18 Harrow Way, the culmination of this long, exhausting, and stressful transitionary day. The red Audi stops. The diesel engine finally, thankfully, goes dead. As the children look out at the house with a sense of excitement and dread. It has 3 bedrooms, a garden that's lush and expansive and green, the most beautiful home that the Petrova family has ever yet seen. Arthur jumps out, his green glasses glinting in the late evening light, as the new house stands waiting, a beacon of hope in the approaching night. No McDonald's, Pitar mutters, but we're here and we're all in one piece. As the tension of the car trip begins to finally, gradually, slowly decrease, Aurora steps out slowly, clutching her Bible close to her chest, seeking a moment of quiet and a much-needed, deep-seated rest. She looks at the garden, the flowers still blooming in autumn's late glow, thinking of all the new stories she'll write and the things she will know. Maria comes over, her long sleeves covering her permanent deep-seated scars, as the first of the evening's bright, shimmering, and beautiful stars appears in the sky above the open-plan living room's wide, glass-paned door. As they step over the threshold and onto the new, polished, hardwood-laid floor, the Balkan ornaments are ready to be placed on the shelves and the walls, as the sound of the children's excitement echoes through the new, spacious halls. Inside, the house is a dream, with space and with light and with air, a sanctuary for the family, a beautiful and well-presented new lair. Petar is hauling the boxes, his blue glasses sliding down his sweat-filmed brow. Zdravey, nov dom! Zdravey, November dom! He shouts with a grin on him now. The transition was hellish, a nightmare of shouting and swearing and tears. A journey that felt like it lasted for hundreds and hundreds of agonizing years. But they made it to Chelmsford, they made it to 18 Harroway, and the horrors of Romford are starting to fade with the end of the day. Petar looks at Aurora, his eyes showing a flicker of soft, fatherly love, as the dark clouds of fury are replaced by the clear, starry heavens above. I'm sorry, Petar whispers, his voice low and gravelly and deep, as the children prepare for a long and a restful and much-needed sleep. I shouldn't have yelled, and I shouldn't have called you those names. The stress of the move and the traffic played terrible, dark-hearted games. Aurora looks up, her pink glasses catching the kitchen's warm light. It's okay, Papa, she says. I know that we're all a bit tired tonight. She gives him a cuddle, a soft and a tender and healing warm hug as Arthur lies down on the new and the soft and the plush, velvet-laid rug. The cacophonous noise of the flat is a memory, distant and old, as the Petrova family prepares for a future that's bright and that's bold. Maria is busy in the kitchen, her long sleeves pushed up to her wrists, ignoring the ache and the pain in her tired and hard-working, sore fists. She's making the softer alternative that she promised the kids in the car, a meal that's better than nuggets or burgers or fries, or a chocolate-filled bar. Special fish and chips, with a batter that's crispy and golden and light, a celebratory feast for their first and their most important, new Chelmsford-based night. The scent of the food fills the air, a delicious and comforting, mouth-watering smell, replacing the stench of the bins and the darkness of their Romford-born hell. Come and eat, she calls out, her voice filled with a genuine motherly joy, as she plates up the food for her daughter and her loquacious and hungry young boy. There are mushy peas, too, and a pot of tartare sauce on the side, a meal that fills the Petrovas with a sense of belonging and pride. They sit at the table, the open-plan living room glowing with light, as they toast to their new life and their wonderful, beautiful first Chelmsford night. No more Ella Rose stories, Maria says with a wink and a small, knowing grin. Let's focus on new ones, on the places we'll go and the things we will win. Aurora nods, her mouth full of chips that are salty and hot and delicious, feeling no longer sad or upset or lonely or fearful or suspicious. The red Audi is parked in the drive, its diesel engine now quiet and cold, as the story of the Petrova family continues to beautifully, bravely unfold. Petar sits down with them, his blue glasses off and his face finally calm, holding Maria's hand in his own large and protective and comforting warm palm. To Essex, he says, and to a life that's much better than the one we've left far behind. To a home where we're happy and healthy and patient and loving and kind. They eat and they talk, the loquaciousness now a source of laughter and fun. As the battle of moving is finally, thankfully, successfully, and totally won. The Bible sits on the counter, the torn page a reminder of the trip that they took. A small, jagged scar, in a beautiful and holy and ancient and comforting book. But it doesn't matter now, because they are together, and they are all safe and sound, in a place where love and prosperity and happiness are destined to always be found. As the clock strikes 2100 on this October the 3rd, 2016, the most peaceful and quiet and happy Petrova-based moment is finally seen. Aurora and Arthur are tucked into their beds in their own separate new rooms, as the garden outside in the moonlight beautifully and silently and naturally blooms. The car trip from hell is over. The swearing and shouting and tears are all done. And a new chapter for the Petrova family has finally, officially, and happily begun. From Romford to Badow, from flat 74 to 18 Haraway, they've made it through the darkness and into the light of a brand new and beautiful day. So here's to the Petrovas, to Petar, Maria, Aurora, and Arthur too. May their new life in Chelmsford be peaceful and happy and consistently, wonderfully true.